Before we get to the changes that we made and what changes were deemed acceptable, spoiler alert, not many, I just won't tell you how none. They're supposed to be neutral, these editors. So we actually are going to take the Wikipedia neutrality test.
Right.
To see if we have what it takes.
Well, I would imagine disruptive users sort of go against their philosophies, less than just harass people.
I guess we're about to be disruptors in the tech space.
Oh.
Okay, neutrality time. The quiz starts with, can you guess which of the following passages comply with Wikipedia's neutral point of view policy?
Gotcha.
In 1958, Mao Zedong launched the Great Leap Forward that aimed to rapidly transform China's economy from agrarian to industrial. However, his cruel disregard for the lives of his citizens led to the deadliest famine in history and the deaths of 20 to 46 million people between 1958 and 1962. Well, it's asking me which of these...
It seems that would be a neutral?
That's one passage. One of them is supposed to... Oh, okay. It's saying not neutral. How does this test work?
Is it not neutral?
I just hit the answer. It says, hold on a second. Can you guess which of the following passages comply with...
That's what happened, right?
Oh, okay. So all of these, I'm supposed to say if it's neutral or not neutral. Okay. This says not neutral. The information here is fine, but the characterization of Mao is not.
Oh, so they have an opinion on him.
It says cruel disregard for the lives of his citizens is an opinion and should not be stated as fact. Didn't this guy have a torture chamber? Am I wrong about that?
No, you're right about that.
Oh, okay.
And if you look up, Hitler didn't care for Jews, also an opinion piece.
Yes. Well, look, it's not that he didn't care for Jews. He killed them. We
Right.
don't know why he killed them.
Well, yeah, it could have been...
He could have liked them.
A lot. He could have had a crush on them.
You ever love someone to death?
Yeah.
It's an expression.
Or like when you're mean to a girl because you like her, or she's
Right.
mean to you, he just exterminated 6
Yeah, like in the
million
schoolyard,
girls.
you throw Zyklon B in her face.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You dig it.
So here's another one. Extensive investigation into vaccines and autism has shown that there is no relationship between the two, causal or otherwise, and that vaccine ingredients do not cause autism. I'm going to guess that this is a neutral point of view.
I'm guessing that's from Jenny McCarthy's apology page.
Well, she has 700 edits.
Does she really?
Yeah. Like I said, it's idle hands.
Did she just go back? She's one of the 1,000.
I'm going to guess this is considered neutral. Answer, neutral. Wikipedia does not give undue weight to, quote, fringe theories not supported by reliable sources like the idea that vaccines cause autism. This passage is an appropriate summary of the scholarship on the topic. All right, here's another statement. Okay, the New York Yankees are one of the greatest baseball teams in history. You think that's neutral or not?
No, it's true. I mean, it's neutral. I mean,
they have. I don't know anything about baseball, but from what I understand, they're like the winningest team in sports history.
They are. I mean, if you want to include all the way from back when the great Bambino played,
right?
All the way to
when blacks weren't allowed,
right?
Yeah.
And then blacks came in and they were like, "Wow, we got to get rid of these fat white guys."
Yes.
But yeah, if you look at it, New York they're the Moneyball team, sort of, but they are a great team. They're always been a great team.
One of the greatest baseball teams in history. All right, let's see. I'm going to guess that they say not neutral. Not neutral.
Why?
It says calling something the greatest is an example of peacock language, which it is best to avoid. It should just say which is best to avoid. Hey, how about the grammar neutral quiz? Wikipedia says,
but it's
literally
statistics.
It says peacock language, which it is best to avoid. It should just read which is best to avoid. You should show instead of tell using verifiable facts. It would be much better to write instead, the New York Yankees have won 26 World Series championships, almost 3 times as many as any other team.
Oh, you know what you could do? You could sum that down to one of the greatest.
Yeah, well, different strokes.
So basically it just comes down to language.
Yeah. Which they use horribly in their description.
Yeah, if you state the exact fact of what you meant, it means the same, but that's wrong.
Greatest is it's a subjective term. More wins, 3 times more wins than the next team. Well, you say tomato, I say pendants.
Yep.
All right.
Jesus.
Here's another one. In 2017, Facebook partnered with fact checkers from Pointer Institute's international fact-checking network to identify and mark false content, though most ads from political candidates are exempt from this program. Critics of the program accuse Facebook of not doing enough to remove false information from its website. I don't know. I guess I'll say they'll say neutral. Neutral.
Yep.
This is a good example of how to note that a prominent point of view exists, appropriate, without taking that point of view in Wikipedia's voice. Inappropriate. I just thought the whole thing was no one was supposed to think that Wikipedia had a voice.
I thought the entire... Well, yeah, that's what neutral would be.
Right.
So it wouldn't have an angle. So the entire thing that was an opinion is actually neutral, and then the other one that was fact, like the Yankees are a baseball team, is somehow incorrect.
No, the problem is that they're one of the greatest baseball
Well,
teams.
I think they're notable.
Yeah, I would certainly. I mean, if not the team that has won more than any other team, and it's not even close. What does it say? It says they've won, what? I don't even know anything about baseball.
Well, in that case...
3 times as many as any other team. Would they fact check Muhammad Ali? I mean, it's supposed to, everybody knows I'm the greatest, I'm so pretty. The fact is, he is not the greatest, and pretty is a subjective term.
That's very true.
And he also can't move like a butterfly.
Or sting like... Well, you can sting like a bee.
He'd probably sting like a bee.
It probably hurt worse than a bee.
He didn't punch very hard.
No.
So, be like, bee sting. Okay.
Can we go to the Detroit Lions page and just change that to they try super good and hard? Well, that's what it is, though.
I think it's just one word, sucks.
It's a team I enjoy.
Here's another statement. According to Simon Wiesenthal, the Holocaust was a program of extermination of the Jewish people in Germany, but David Irving disputes this analysis. I've got to imagine they'll claim this is neutral because it's providing 2 different points of view.
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah,
Not neutral. David Irving is a Holocaust denier, a fringe viewpoint that should not be given parity with the consensus among respected historians. Well, okay. But he does dispute the analysis.
So it's a fact.
I'm sure Mel Gibson has his qualm. If you said Mel Gibson you could have just changed this with Simon Wiesenthal. According to Simon Wiesenthal, the Holocaust was a program of exterminating the Jewish people in Germany, but Mel Gibson has his doubts. It still would be neutral.
Yeah, because it's his opinion.
Right.
Which you're putting it into a thing where it's not Wikipedia's opinion, which goes against the one just before this.
Okay.
So it's not in Wikipedia's voice,
I think I see a trend here.
Which is Wikipedia's super neutral voice.
Here's another one. Princess Diana died in a Paris hospital in 1997 after being injured in a tragic car crash.
Well, then neutral.
I would say neutral. Not neutral.
Why? Because she spiritually died months before?
Like a candle in the wind.
Right. Like, why? That's completely accurate.
There are no candles in the wind.
No.
They're extinguished. They're former candles.
Well, if there's a candle in the wind, it's blown out.
Also, how many of you know that song existed well before Princess Diana? Is there anything more disrespectful than to just rehash a song?
Well, I mean, I'm sure he got the call and was like, let me take this out of my mouth and I'll be there in 5 minutes.
So it says not neutral, even though her death is almost universally considered tragic.
Yes. It was.
Almost universally considered tragic? There's one administrator with 900 edits like, hey.
Yeah, learn to wear...
He's a Camilla fan.
Yeah, learn to wear a seatbelt. There's nothing wrong with you being chased down by paparazzi and killed.
This page was edited by Camilla.
Oh, weird.
This was edited by Camilla. It says, even though her death is almost universally considered tragic, using the word tragic is still an inappropriate instance of editorializing. Instead, use facts to convey the public response, such as media attention and public mourning were extensive after her death, and an estimated 2.5 billion people watched her televised funeral.
Well, I guess you can agree because maybe it was the Queen of England who edited the page. Yeah, and she was like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'll just wave like this and don't really care she's dead.
You should see what she says about Merkel.
Oh, she's not a fan.
No, she's not a fan. They'd rather have flipper kids than mulattoes.
How is she still alive? The Queen of England has looked the same since the 80s.
Well, I don't know. I assume she's been pickled. It says Cats received negative reviews from critics, true. Who criticized the CGI effects,
almost
true.
Universal.
Plot and tone, true. With many calling it one of the worst films of 2019.
Correct.
I've got to imagine this is going to be considered objective.
It's got to be.
It is. It's neutral. It's neutral.
Why is it neutral?
Wikipedia describes reputations, indicating the relative prominence of different viewpoints. When reputations are bad, Wikipedia should say so, without employing false balance. Without employing false balance.
But then you just went against Princess Diana and all these other ones against those same measures.
You said you can't say almost universally considered tragic. I mean, I'm sure there's a few James Corden fans when we're talking about cats.
Sure, him.
I would bet you there are more James Corden fans
in his bed
than people who support Princess Diana's death. That came out of my mouth, and I know I was wrong. Okay,
No,
it's
you
probably,
could be incorrect.
Yeah.
I think way more people were sad about... No.
I think there were more people who were happy about Princess Diana's death, though very few, than there are James Corden
There
fans.
might be sad because he's on the air.
Yeah. No, sad for him.
Because it's not like you have to watch the car accident 4 or 5 days a week.
No.
Well, I mean, it is a car accident.
Well, I mean, he did cause car accidents when he was, he was...
Running around like a mouse.
He was running around like a mouse
'Cause
in
that
LA
was funny.
traffic.
Yeah. After he came out of his...
Also, he
front
caused a car
door.
accident from... I totaled my car when I saw his Weight Watchers billboard.
That's true. So I was like, why would that work?
Well, I was afraid it was going to fall on me.
Yeah, I get it. I was like, why are you gaining weight and you're the spokesperson?
Doc must be counting a lot of points, 3 times as many as the next most successful Weight Watcher.
Yes.
One might say the greatest Weight Watcher. Okay, here's a statement here. We have to determine if it's neutral or not. Donald Trump made many false or misleading statements during his campaign and presidency to a degree unprecedented in American politics. There you go.
Well,
to a degree unprecedented. That seems... Okay.
That's
If we're
not
going to use the
neutral.
same standard
It's not
as
neutral.
the Princess Diana, almost universally regarded as tragic, this is to a degree unprecedented. Doesn't even couch it with almost in American politics. Many of his comments and actions have been characterized as racially charged or racist.
Well, that's not neutral at all.
It's not neutral, but it's neutral.
Oh, weird.
According to Wikipedia, it says Wikipedia's content should reflect that of reliable sources, even when it differs from a view held by a large portion of the general public. Well, this also happens to reflect the view of reliable sources with Brian Stelter.
Yes, well, but that's stated entirely as an opinion. It's not even written as fact.
I don't want to do any more of this test. I think we've got, what's the next one? William Shakespeare is
Well, I think
widely
clearly
considered to
they're-
be one of the, this is enough. You
Yeah,
get it.
they're a little biased is
You're
what
right,
we're
yeah.
driving at.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.